starts here and goes this way, which means it flows from south to north, so it's going downhill when we go this way. That means it's going uphill to go this way. The ancient Kemites always looked back this way, up river, as the source of their home, their inspiration, and so forth. For example, for them, the word south and face were the same. The word left and east are the same. The word right and west are the same. So their general orientation was to the south with their back to the North Pole. And that was what they used as their main point of orientation. We must keep that in mind.
Okay.
This would be an example of the Nile River, for example, which is very interesting in Kemet. One of the beauties of this river is that they have winds that blow from the north going south, so that if you want to go north, you just float. If you want to go south, you get help from the wind.
Okay.
And so that was helpful, because if you floated one way, you wanted to be able to get back.
Okay.
Okay, the fifth principle or master key, fifth concept, organizing concept, is that the origin of the people and the culture, like the orientation, is also up south. So we look, in order to show this, for a cultural unity between the Kemetic people and the Sudanese people, for example. Now, that great Egyptologist, E. Wallace Budge, used to say that he felt that he understood the Kemetic writing better, and at least the Kemetic religion was understood better by him when he studied the religion of Sudanese people. The further south he went and watched the religion that was being practiced at that time, the better he understood the ancient Kemetic religion. So in other words, you didn't go to Saudi Arabia or to Europe and study those religions to try to understand Kemetic religion, because they were not like the Kemetic religion. The cultural unity was between Kemet and the people up south. The sixth organizing principle is that generally significant leaders are southern. And I'm going to go to the time chart on this again. Those who founded, just watch this, for example. Those who founded, the king who founded Dynasty 1 was a southern king, Mina. The kings...
When you say southern, you're talking about...
That means he came from up south. That means he would come from the area today that we call somewhere near Luxor, even some cases as far south as Aswan, sometimes even outside the country. But what I'm saying is that each of the founding dynasty plus the dynasties of the four golden ages, which are the Old Kingdom or the Pyramid Age, the Middle Kingdom or the Literary Age, the New Kingdom or the Temple and Imperial Age, the Late Kingdom or the Revival Age, each of these four golden ages was initiated from the south. In other words, their kings, their family, the royal family at that time came from the south. That's a very important fact.
Who were clearly black and
because
African.
they were then black and they are now black, even in 1990. The Luxor population is a black population, and definitely when you get to Aswan, that's a black population.
Okay.
Okay, the Imperial Age was centered at Waset. The Restoration Age was centered at Waset. And Meroe, which is even further south than Waset, it's even out of the country. Meroe is all the way up almost to Sudan or Khartoum.
I like that name, Waset. I wonder, what does that mean?
It means the scepter. Why do you like the name Waset?
There's something about it. I don't know what. It means the scepter. Now you got to tell us what that means.
Waset, of course, today is called Luxor. And before that, the Greeks called it Thebes, but the Africans called it Waset. And Waset meant the scepter, the symbol of authority and rulership and power.
Okay.
The literary age was started at Waset. The priesthood at Waset was the home base of the preachers. You know,
And why is that significant?
It's very important because you had this peculiar kind of thing where what Plato was striving for in his Republic, the idea of philosopher king, was a reality in Kemet. That the priests were the ones that disciplined royalty. In other words, the pharaoh, contrary to what many people believe, did not have a free reign. That he had to gain, in effect, the approval of the high priest of the time. And so this high priesthood had as its center base Waset, and from there subsidiary lodges would be found all over the country, especially from the 11th dynasty onward.
Okay.
Prior to that time, of course, they had several major centers.
Okay.
Okay, this is one of our first pharaohs, early pharaohs, and of course this is the pyramid pharaoh, Zoser, who built the step pyramid and whose funerary complex we looked at before that had those so-called Greek columns. We can see clearly here this is an African man.
Okay.
If we skip from Zoser to this pharaoh, we have skipped from the Old Kingdom to the Middle Kingdom, and this is the pharaoh who founded the Middle Kingdom, the Second Golden Age, and it was from Waset that this family lived and ruled, and that was Dynasty 11, Mentuhotep II. He's a very important pharaoh, but several other important pharaohs also lived in this same city of Waset, and they also were critical not only to Kemet, but also to other parts of the world, such as this one. This is Pharaoh Senwosret I, who is known in history, according to Martin Bernal, who wrote the book Black Athena. This is the pharaoh who is the legendary Greek figure. He's a Kemetic figure, but the Greeks referred to him as Kekrops. His name in Kemetic is Keperkare Senwosret I. And he is the one that Bernal credits with the founding of the Greek city-state of Athens. So that there is this external relationship between Kemet and the rest of the world as far back as 2000 BC. This is in the Middle Kingdom. Okay, here we have in that same kingdom a pharaoh who is also known to the Greeks, according to Martin Bernal's work and others. His name is Amenemhet III. And Amenemhet III is that legendary character who fought with Agamemnon in the Trojan War. In the Greek-Trojan War, we had Ethiopian troops, and Greeks called Kemetic people and other Africans black people, and the word for that in Greek was Ethiopian. So this is the figure. Here he is again, Amenemhet III. And Amenemhet III is the legendary Memnon of the Greeks.
Okay.
Nefertari is the queen mother of the Third Golden Age. She was married to Pharaoh Ahmes, or she's sometimes referred to as Ahmose Nefertari. You can see that she's clearly black, but she's also a part of that Waset family, this up-south family, showing again the southern origin of leadership. And so here you have this key dynasty, the 18th, which is sometimes called the Grand Golden Age, the biggest of all the four golden ages. The age of imperial expansion, the age of architectural expansion, and so forth. So she would be one of the major figures illustrating this point about the up-south nature of the leadership. Okay, here we have Pharaoh Amenhotep III with his wife, Queen T. This is the mother and father of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who was married to Nefertiti. Most of the people who know Kemet, they know about Nefertiti, but they should really know about Nefertiti's in-laws, because they were really important people, especially the wife. The wife is Queen T, and Queen T is the woman who literally ruled Kemet along with her husband, co-regent with her husband. There are letters from Asian kings in cuneiform, where when they got into some difficulty, this is the woman they asked for help. They didn't write to her husband, they wrote to her, so that you could say that she was a co-regent